Hi, everyone. It's Az here with AZChats. How you doing? I'm joined today by Lady Alchemy, a.k.a. Martina Markota. But it's your stage name, which I think you're more synonymous with. How you doing today?
Good. I think this is the earliest stream I've been on so far.
You're like channeling femme fatale right now, you know? You got the dark hair, we got the cigarette, you know, we got the black and the white. It's very noir-esque.
Love it.
I think there are not YouTube channels. I think there are websites out there that you actually pay money to see this sort of thing, you know?
Well, bring that money. Come on, guys.
But it's working. It's working for you. So, Martina, this is going to be a really interesting one because this is going to go all sorts of places.
Yeah.
Which some of them I can't believe, and I need you to fill in gaps, big gaps. Because I came across you originally through EVS, Ethan Van Sciver's Comicsgate streams. And he had you on as a up and coming, somebody who had a project they wanted to share. And it was your Lady Alchemy. It was a comic book based upon yourself. An ideal of yourself, of course. I don't think you can quite perform magic and stuff. Or maybe this is it. This is the whole revelation of it all. It's true, everything that we've been told. And then that was, I think, around about arse end of 2018.
Yeah.
Approximately.
Yeah.
So a year and a half later, things have gone all over the place as regards to that. But it's an interesting story to go into. And everyone, at any time in this conversation, if you like what you hear, if you're enjoying it and you want to support Martina, down below in the comment section, in the description box, whatever, I put the link to her Indiegogo campaign for Lady Alchemy. And I've also put the link to your Maxim Cover Girl campaign. You're actually in a competition at the moment to become Maxim Cover Girl. I am too, so watch yourself, because I'm coming for you. I'm coming for your place. I got knocked out before I could even apply, but never mind. So if you want to support, links are in the description box down below. But to kind of paraphrase what the story is, and want you now to start filling it in, is you introduced this Lady Alchemy Indiegogo.
Yes.
Things went wrong.
Yes.
What went wrong?
Okay, so I was just retweeting everything. Okay, let me get back so I could see you. Where are you? Whatever. Basically, I really need to see you to talk to you. Okay, there we go. Yeah, basically, we went live. It's a story about, I always wanted to do this. I mean, since like 2010, I was a performer, Lady Alchemy, and had purple hair at the time. And I remember I bumped into this guy. I got to find his name, but he does comics and he tends to do a lot of the celebrities and turns them into comics. He did Coco, do you know, Ice-T's wife, turned her into comics.
Okay.
He did Adrienne Curry. She was the first America's Next Top Model, turned her into a comic book character. So he does that stuff, and he showed me that, and I was like, oh my God, I think that Lady Alchemy is a perfect comic book character because I'm a performer in New York City. New York City is like Gotham City. It's the coolest setting for a superhero.
Well, that's
story.
what Gotham was based off. It was New York to start with. So
right, it was right. Yeah, I mean, it's totally Gotham City. It is. So it's like a perfect base. It's about Lady Alchemy is supposed to be beautiful, and wears costumes, runs around in the middle of the night in costumes. At one point, I did fire performing, so I had fire. It's weapons and all sorts of stuff.
Because you're a performance artist. Was that a fair description of your trade?
Yeah, I like to say performance art. People definitely put me into that nook of burlesque, which sure, I'll do burlesque as well, corsetry and all that stuff, the traditional burlesque, feather fans and everything. But I also do a lot of avant-garde stuff, like my Negretto performance where I have the black paint and, various things, the milk performance. So I like to do a lot of avant-garde things.
I want to talk to you about the milk performance.
Yeah, okay. And so I like things to be like strange but beautiful. So I like to branch out into like performance art as opposed to like what people think burlesque is. But yeah, so I run around in the middle of the night. I wear costumes. I live in Gotham City. Daytime, I'm a huge nerd. I wear glasses. I studied math, and I just thought it was a great character to kind of turn into a comic book. But this guy back in 2010 was like, oh, it'll cost like 10 grand. You need to get like the inker, there's the colorist, there's the letterer, there's the script writer, there's all this stuff. And I was like, well, I don't have 10 grand for a comic book, so that's not happening. And then, I got blacklisted because of my politics. I'm not an SJW. I vote Republican. And that did not work out well for the performing community in New York City.
I want to go into that later on as well. I want to go
so that like destroyed my career. And then, when I tried working in like conservative world, doing like punditry, I worked at Daily Caller, I did stuff like that. It's just not me. I mean, I'm a dancer, I'm an artist, that's what I am. I'm not a pundit. You can't turn me into. No offense to Tommy Lauren, I love her, I've talked to her, but she is great at what she does. It's not me. I'm not Lauren Southern. I can't do this stuff. It's not for me. I'm an artist, and so ultimately that's what I was looking, to find my way in again. But the right, and as far as politics go, don't really appreciate art. So it's like I lost my career, and they're like, burlesque dance, like whatever, like if I worked in an office and in HR somewhere, I don't know, some sort of office job, they'd be outraged, and I'd be all over the press being like, she was, fired for her beliefs for Trump, but the fact that I'm an artist is like, well, like, why do you care about some leftist industry? I'm like, because that's like what I am. That's what I care about. And so I didn't find much support there. But then I noticed stuff going on with Comicsgate, and it was just like my people, because it was people that are artists. We are artsy. We're into the arts. But we were like, no SJW shit. And then we had people, I think that's Ethan's story, and a lot of people in Comicsgate is that they had similar situations with what happened with me with the major DC and Marvel situation. So I found my place with people that are not afraid of my politics. We align that way, but we don't revolve our life around politics. We are artists ultimately.
Yeah.
They support that and they get that. So I found that
used to be the criteria of who you were. It's like who you were as a person, what you did. Yeah. Politics was never an issue. Nowadays, it's like the qualifier of whether or not you get spoken to, you get let in the door.
Yeah, and it's like just making simple comments. Like, sure, I can have an opinion and post about something like, look at this stupid thing that happened, and like, look what SJWs are doing. But then the rest of my feed and my content is all about like art. So it's nice to be able to just like have your opinion without having to hide it. Say something if you want to say it, but then get back into like what you're into. And that's kind of what we do in Comicsgate. Yeah, sometimes we have our 2 cents on some SJW shit going on, but ultimately we're promoting our art. We're excited about what we're working on with art, and it's very supportive. Everyone's super supportive. So yeah, I touched base with Ethan and all that, and I was embraced, but I unfortunately, for some reason, attract a lot of, I don't know, sociopaths or narcissists or something, but they see the weakness in me that I'm very passive, and I'm definitely a pushover. So I had this friend at the time who was Baked Alaska's manager, and in that like alt-right scene, and he, I think, saw Comicsgate as this opportunity, like a cash grab opportunity. And so he used me to be like, I'm going to be your artist for this, and like use my image, use my brand, use, my public persona, getting on Ethan's show, raising money. And that was his way of like cashing in. And so when that campaign first got funded, and I was like, it was fully funded, and we have that money and it's in my business bank account, immediately it was like spending my money. So it was like, give me $3,000 up front for artwork. And I never done a comic book before. And this was my friend. And I was like a little hesitant of just like dropping like $3,000 like right away. As soon as I get my money, I was like, well, we have a lot of other expenses to do. Like, and he was just like, no, I prefer getting my money up front. So I paid him the $3,000. The invoice said freelance art for Lady Alchemy comic book. And a month later, he said he needed another $1,000. So I paid that. And then he's like, oh, my buddies over in LA, they'll print your posters. It's going to be $2,000. I was like, whoa. I don't need $2,000 worth of posters. I just need a few hundred posters. Like, I can't, like, no, $2,000 for shirts, another, $12,000 for silkscreen posters. It was just like spend. It was spending all my money. And then it got to the point of like August 2019, where we were supposed to have the book out. That was when we were supposed to do it. And that date came and went. And then September came around and he was telling me to spend money on this and that had nothing to do with the comic book. He's like, use the comic book money, pay for this, pay for that. And I was like, I can't use the comic book money. We've been spending it. Where's the book? Where are the pages? Like, send me pages. Like, now is the time. People are bothering me. Like, not bothering me, but the backers are asking.
Yeah.
Hey, like, where's the book? Where's the book? And so I was concerned, and I started really being demanding on getting me the art. So that's when he got a little like distant and being a little negative and complaining and saying, oh, I need to work. I have to get this. I have to accept this gig. I have to do this gig and that gig because like I need money. Like I need to pay rent. I need to eat. And it's like, well, I'm not asking you to do this for free. Like I paid you thousands of dollars. So give me what I paid you.
Give me work. Yeah.
And so then October 15th, we had a date for 30 pages to be done. And he was like, yeah, sure. In September, he was like, yeah, sure. I can do that. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. And I left him alone. I was like, no distractions, not bothering you. Like, just do what you got to do to get these 30 pages in. October 15th rolls around, don't hear from him, And then the next few days, I'm like, hey, our due date, our deadline, like, came and passed. Like, where is it? Oh, by the weekend. Okay, the weekend comes. I'm like, hey, where are the pages? Oh, by Sunday. And then so Sunday comes around. He's like, okay, so I sent you a file. And I look at the file. It's 14 pages. 14 pages, and none of them were good. It was basically all a self-insert. He calls himself Major Gruber online, and so the story became from page 1 all the way to page 13 about Major Gruber walking around the city, going into the club, all these things. And it was just like, I wasn't happy with the story. I wasn't happy with the art. Like, I felt like this wasn't something I was proud of, that like would be a good reflection on this book and me and my reputation, and wouldn't be good for book 2. So I got on this meeting and I like called him, and he has this like writer that was like, he got on board, but I never really talked to him much, and he never sent me a full script, just like a long paragraph of a really crappy story that I was like, I don't get it. It didn't have anything I wanted, because I have a really rare blood type, which is something 10 years ago I wanted to incorporate in my comic book story, something about the Nephilim bloodline, like all these things. I have this dead ex-step grandfather who died, and like I wanted him to be like in it, and like none of these things that I wanted in my Lady Alchemy story was in it. It was this Major Gruber story. So I was really unhappy, and then I googled Major Gruber, and I found out that was already an established comic book character. It's from Mobius, in the Airtight Garage, something like that. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's already an established character. And I was like, guys, like, these are the types of oversights that could cause me problems, and also problems for Comicsgate. Because could you imagine Renfimus or any of our haters seeing that like we have a copywritten character that is in my book? That's a bad reflection on all of us. And I don't know what sort of other mistakes you guys have made. And, these are all the mistakes and the money spending and like all these issues. Like, why did you order 90 pounds of posters for $2,000? Like all these things. And I said, Lady Alchemy first shows up on page 14. It's just unacceptable. At 14 pages after a year and a half, at this rate, it's going to be another 3 years to complete a book. So I need to get rid of you.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, you're done. And so once I fired them, it became, I didn't ask for the money back, nothing. I mean, I'm talking 11 grand here, and I didn't even ask for it. I just said, I don't want to work with you anymore. So like, bye. And they got really vindictive, and they started doing copyright strikes on my Indiegogo. I started doing copyright strikes on my website. I got them back. They were copyright striking my live streams. They were doing everything they could to sabotage the book because I moved on without them. They went on podcasts and wrote blogs about me. They went on podcasts saying all sorts of lies and just slandering me, calling me like a stripper whore, and saying that I used the campaign funds for like, that I did tax fraud, because he knew I was bitching about taxes the whole time. I was like, Maz, this money that you see is not there. Like, there's expenses that I spent on you, on all the merch, on all these things. I had like over $5,000 in taxes to pay. Like, I have all, like, it's just, you're being delusional. So he just twisted this like tax thing and was like, oh, she's committing tax fraud and all these things that are very, very damaging to say. And it was just all a way to sabotage. So they're working their hardest still currently right now to sabotage this project, to make sure that I fail and that the project fails. But ultimately, I want to get this done in the way that I want it done, and to make sure the backers get what they paid for. So it's happening. Even if they shut it all down and everything is canceled, I have the backer information. They're getting a book. So
yeah. Well, because I was one of those people in the audience that day that you went on to Comicsgate with EVS, and I wasn't doing anything culture war-ish. You know, I hadn't joined the culture war by then. I was still waffling about World of Bloody Warcraft and crying about that. And I was just interested in comics. I was interested in new comics. I was interested in new ideas. When you went on to that, there was like 3 pages or so that was shown off. And it actually, the style was very good. The sort of interpretation, the way that your character would move from her kind of into a form of, you know, performing her magic was sort of through the sort of form of dance or tarot, or, you know, they had this very unique kind of, almost, for what, not wanting to kind of carbon copy, but Zatanna-esque, but a little bit more kind of, occult related. So I kind of gravitated towards that, and I like that. So I supported the campaign.
Thank you.
And of course, because I support the campaign, I get the updates. So I can go through the updates and see what's up. So, you know, there were a couple of Comicsgate campaigns which weren't, you know, coming out. Some were delayed, some were coming out bang on time. That's fine. You know, that's just life. And then when I was actually going through the campaigns, you could see that something had obviously gone wrong. And then you were talking about, I need to get my posters out to you people. I need to get my T-shirts out to you people. So we started, you know, giving addresses out, and then eventually we got posters, we got T-shirts. And what that said to me, at least at the time, was it's just like, okay, this person is understanding something's gone wrong. Something clearly has gone wrong behind the scenes, but they're desperately trying to rectify. They're desperately trying to come out of this. And you know, you could tell in the language that you were flustered. I think that's a very polite point. You could tell you're flustered. But then I saw, and I think you were chatting on another stream to somebody. I can't remember whose stream it was. Maybe you'll be able to help me here. And you actually started to go into what had gone wrong, you know, with the actual compilation of the book and getting kind of ripped off and things not working out. But what I really was kind of happy about was the fact that the fight, you know, there was this fight that I need to get this book out. I want to get this book out, and I want to get it out to the level that the people are expecting it to come out at. And so I sort of really enjoyed that kind of fight back. It wasn't like, oh, well, we tried, the campaign fell apart, oopsies, you know, these are one of these things that happen sort of business, which has happened with another one type of thing. But this was somebody who's desperately trying. And then what I found really interesting this wasn't just talk, because we suddenly started to get updates, and more updates started to come out, and these updates were very specific updates. We're moving in this direction. We've got this going on now. This person has come on to do this. This is the artwork which we're producing at the moment. This is the kind of so we started to get that, I genuinely felt, I thought, right, this is now on track. This is, yeah, it's going to be late. It's going to be hell of late, but whatever. When something's kind of gone on this off the rails, you're not wanting really to put too much of a time on. You just wanting to see it come to fruition. But the kind of gumption almost to kind of take all this shite, because we'll go into the other shite soon, because you kind of like, you got a hell of a story. You got a hell of a story, woman. You got a hell of a story.
I know.
And it was just great to see, because I saw it as somebody that's desperately trying to not just fulfill, but somebody who wanted to see a vision fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that, I mean, now seeing the level of work that we're doing, I mean, I'm going to be in the red. I mean, I'm going to be streaming and taking my money and paying for things in the end, because of all the problems I've gone through with all this, and him trying to really sabotage everything and milk me. But ultimately, I'm really happy that I guess all these problems happened, because I wouldn't have come across Vaughn or Dario, the artist, or Miko, the colorist, and we wouldn't have the product that we are having currently. So ultimately, whatever. Okay, I'm not making profit on book 1. I've just sorted out a mess and figured out how to build up a new team and how to do a comic book. And now I'm prepared how to do this for next time. But I am happy despite all of the issues, because otherwise we wouldn't have this. Oh shoot, I gotta update my campaign. Damn, I had the colorist update the sky a little bit so that it had more purple tones, so it kind of blends with the rest of the picture a little bit more. So yeah, I have to update.
Yeah, but it's good to start seeing,
Yeah.
And this is all drawn. This is not traced as well.
No, yeah.
When it comes to building, I was very kind of I always look to see which buildings are drawn and which buildings are traced and stuff. And then we saw this come in various stages. We saw the line work for this, then we saw a little bit extra come through. Then
I think I shared the sketch of that, because the sketch was just so pretty, and then the line work came in, and then the color came in, and that's my favorite thing. I'm so happy.
So it's all starting to come together, and there's some of your actual work itself. So it's really started to come together, which I was very happy with, very pleased with. And that's when I discussed it. I think that's when he got in contact with me. I think I was talking to was it Cecil at the time? I don't know. I was talking to somebody at the time. I might have just been streaming, and I might have just actually brought you up in casual stream, because I was just genuinely impressed with the fact that this person was really. Well, as a fighter, and I like a fighter. I like somebody that, if you get knocked down, fine. We all get knocked down. It's how you get up. It's whether or not you stay down or you get up. And so I always like it when I see somebody come up and stick those dukes back up again. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah, Cecil is love. He is absolutely love. But this kind of, I don't have the context of everything else. You see, I only had the context of your campaign, and when when you said, hey, let's chat sometimes, so I thought, this would be perfect for an AZChats, because I get artists on, I get creative people on for AZChats, and we discuss their campaigns, or we discuss, specific nerd culture or whatever. And I looked into sort of a little bit more of your history to kind of get an idea of who you were as a person, your background and whatnot. And then I came across this cavalcade of sort of cancel culture, which had been following you since Trump derangement syndrome kicked in. And as somebody who exists in the art world, yes, the arts are very liberal. They are very left-leaning. But just existing there, fine, no problem. To have it almost 180 overnight, once your politics come out, bang, it just became some of the most malicious shit I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I was watching a movie the other day that had to do with dancing. I love dance movies. Those cheesy dance movies. And it had this like a similar watered down version of like what happened to me. And this girl that just is something happened in New York City at an audition with some like higher up, and it was on tape, and then it became a viral video, and then she ran away to the country and started teaching kids dance. And then like when they're at a competition, the other girls are like, isn't this your teacher? And had like the viral video that was embarrassing, just following her around everywhere. And it just like, it clicked to me, and I was like, what the hell is with dancers and like the like really catty vindictiveness? Like it's a thing. And that's why, you know, the movie Showgirls, it's the same thing. Push her down the stairs so she can't perform. Like there's something so like catty and vindictive when it comes to the dance world. It's insane. And it's like, all I want to do is dance. Like all I want to do is just make art. And you have to deal with all this catty vindictiveness. So yeah, it is a combination of like the SJW politics, and we all know how vile they are with the cancel culture. But pile that on top of like catty dancer women, it is so vile. Like it is the most addictive shit you will ever come across. I mean, we had one girl that I performed with that, you know, borrowed my fog machine, all this stuff. We were friendly. Next thing you know, she finds out I'm a Trump supporter. She's putting false tips to the FBI against my husband, who is a British citizen.
Can I just jump in for a second?
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily even a Trump supporter, though, was it? It was just a Republican.
Yeah, I mean, to them, a Republican, it was like unheard of. And I mean, I remember being backstage and they were like, but how can you be Republican? Like, you're an artist. And I was like, that's why I can be a Republican. Like, why? Like, artists are not in a box. You know, you can't fit me into a box. Like, artists.
Because we kind of say Trump supporter just because he's the president. But of course, there had to be a process to get him as the main candidate for the Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, I've always particularly been a Republican. I mean, I know that that's not super trendy to say on the right or even the Trump supporters, because I mean, I think a lot of Trump voters were Democrats. They were possibly Bernie people that then defaulted because Hillary screwed him over or whatever. I'm particularly always been a Republican because, like, I'm first generation American. My mom's from Croatia, so like. Well, both my parents are. And so we were raised really like anti-communism because she lived through it. You know, very nationalistic Croatians are, very Catholic. So that was just my upbringing was very conservative. And the more I got like older, it was like, yeah, I mean, I just never liked the liberals or Democrats, what they were up to, what they were doing. I mean, I was a part of the LGBT community as a straight woman because I always considered myself a weirdo freak. So I got in with the freaks, you know, gay pride parade, the whole thing.
We are going to talk the Milk performance later.
Okay,
we will talk Milk.
And but I ultimately had differences of beliefs with them. I could be friends with them. I could support them as gay or whatever, or trans and all that. I supported them. That doesn't mean that I have to believe that a trans woman is a real woman. That doesn't mean I have to believe everything that they believe with all their SJW stuff. I have lived in New York and I'm in the performing scene my whole life. Like, I am aware that you guys don't agree with me politically, but I respect your position, and I expected people to respect me as a friend and know who I am, what I'm about, what my values are. Maybe I'm different politically, but that ultimately didn't matter. It was as soon as they find out I'm a Republican, or even how dare Trump supporter out of all Republicans, it was instead of maybe we should rethink what a Trump supporter is because our dear friend Lady Alchemy is one. It was our friend Lady Alchemy is a Trump supporter. F her, let's ruin her life, and I'm not friends with her anymore.
Yeah, because this is what I hate about cancel culture, is there's no nuance, there's no context, and there's no nuance to it. It's if you because I mean I've left-leaned all my life, but I have more in common now with people I'd say a right of me, whether it be centrist or you know, even leaning into a little bit into the right, because the far left, I don't understand it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't understand the fact, because I've always believed in conversation. I've always believed in discussion and, even debate.
Yeah.
If it comes, I don't have to accept everything that you say.
Right.
I can respect, you want to be this or you want to be that. I can respect that, fine. But I don't have to agree with this, or I don't have to agree with that, or the other.
Right.
But there's no nuance. There's no context to it. And so if you're a Republican, you're immediately tarred as this, and this.
Yeah.
And that isn't necessarily the way that you believe or feel, because everyone is different. Everyone has a completely different personality, a belief system to them. And so this is why cancel culture is so inane. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't work because you're not understanding the individual. And if you're not understanding the individual, then you might as well call yourself a Nazi. Right. Because you're just grouping up a bunch of Jews and gassing them, or you're just grouping up a bunch of slaves and fucking shipping them off. So you are literally getting yourself into that kind of mindset.
Yeah, I definitely mentioned that too at one point when they were attacking me, and I started, because they were acting like it's okay to do what they're doing to me, to cancel me, to attack me, to make sure that they ruin my contact producers, contact every gig that I'm on, to make sure that I am unbooked. And their logic was like, it's okay to do this to her because she's a Trump supporter. So that means that she's a racist and a Nazi and all this stuff. So it's okay. And I was showing them, guys, that's what the Nazis did to the Jews. They were below us. They were pigs. They were, you know what I mean? So it's okay to do.
Well, they want you to wear a yellow star.
Right.
It's okay. With Republican on it, but it's got Republican on it. That's what it's got. Yeah, they're essentially doing exactly the same thing. And yes, they are sort of herding people up into the chambers, because that is what cancel culture is. Because where do you stop? I listened to an interview with you, and you were talking about how you were getting contacted, or your places of work were getting contacted and told not to book her. She's this, she's that, she's the other. And then if you were to try and go somewhere else, it'd be the same story. And the question is always asked, where do people stop?
Right. And the thing is, they didn't stop because they won, right? I'm canceled. I don't work at the theater that I worked at anymore. They got my agent to stop booking me because they all rallied and said, if you continue to book her, we're not doing your gigs anymore. So she, despite wanting to book me, couldn't, because she had all these other performers. And it was like, I can't do this, Martina, it's not going to work. So they won. They got me to completely not be able to perform anymore. And they said, let's run her out of the city. And I was like, that's not happening. I'm born and raised in New York. This is my home. This is where my family is. And my sister, who's sick in the hospital, leukemia, she's in New York. You're not running me out of the city. And so, but they did. They won. I don't perform anymore. I got a job in DC working for the Daily Caller. Now I'm with my company, right? Now I'm with other conservatives. Everything I'm saying and doing is okay for them. But what did they do? They talked to the press about me. They try to get hit pieces done about me. They try to contact Daily Caller and show my burlesque stuff, say, this is who you're hiring. Is this conservative? So it was now they were trying to sabotage. They're calling the FBI to make sure that my husband from England couldn't get to America so they could ruin my life. So it was beyond getting me blacklisted from performing. It was following me no matter what I did in life. And, so then, okay, what? I don't work in conservative media anymore. What if I worked at Starbucks?
The question I always have, though, is who are you to set the rules? Who are you? Who are you to be? Where did you suddenly become the moral authority?
Yep. Yeah.
Who bestowed that upon you? Do I have to adhere to your morals? If I have to adhere to your morals, I would rather be a conservative. I'd rather be a Republican, because your morals are disgusting. You're filth.
Yeah.
The way that you behave and act
around everywhere. So what if I worked at Starbucks? They would hunt me down the Starbucks where I work and say, look who you have hired here. What do? Panhandle on the street? Basically doing that online now, and they want to shut that down.
No, you kill yourself. That's what they want.
And that's what they want. I don't know what it is they want. They don't want me to have a family. They don't want me to have my husband. They don't want me to have any job, even if it's not performing. So they don't want me to exist.
No.
That's what's happening.
And that's this is where cancel culture has become so poisonous, because there is no end. because it is well, it's a witch hunt, for want of a better phrase. It's a witch hunt, and witch hunts only ended up one way, and they ended up with the witch on the in the sea.
Yeah,
and if she died, if she floated and died, she was not a witch. Oh,
yeah,
well.
and I have people
drowned,
say like, "Oh, stop talking about it. This was years ago. Like, move on." And I'm like, I can't, because I moved back to the city. I mean, what do I do? My profession for decades has been performing, events industry. This is who I am, what I do, what I know best. And I mean, I could tutor math or whatever, but even then, who's going to hire a tutor for the child? Google me, and then they see all this crap about me. So thanks. So I can't even do that. I'm definitely not going to work with kids. So I come back to New York, and I get a gig. There's 4th of July weekend out in the Hamptons. There's a show going on. I'm part of the roster and everything. Next thing you know, I get a message saying, we came to light things that you have said. What did I say?
Yeah.
Okay. Things that you have said and blah, 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 like, for the safety of others, you're not, we don't want you there, like, blah, blah.
For the safety of others.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, for the safety of me, because I've been harassed for the past 4 years, and, for my safety, if people are not, like, have an issue with me, then I would rather not do the show. But, this is my point, is that this was just this month. I tried booking a gig, and what do? They cancel it. So, I mean, yes, I know this is my story. Yes, I talk about it, but it's still happening. Like, they're still canceling me.
So do we get the New York Conservative Arts Foundation now? Do we get the New York Republican? Is that what's going to happen to the arts? So the arts going to have to split themselves politically? Because that's the most stupid thing that I can possibly think of. Yeah,
I do think it's stupid. And I am not a fan of, like, right-wing art, as in, like, plastering MAGA all over myself as a costume, or, doing a Trump performance. Like, I find that as tacky as the left doing a Hillary or anti-Trump performance.
Absolutely.
I find it bland. I find it stupid. I find it just bad art, because I think good art, you can make a political statement, but it doesn't have to be as obvious as, oh, fuck Trump. It doesn't have to be as obvious as, yay, MAGA. It should have things that we cherish.
Like we used to have, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I always considered my art conservative, even though it's burlesque. I'm in pasties and a thong because, I'm doing a lot of religious looks out of adoration, not to defile it, which is what they do. My movements are all about, classical Greek sculptures and, like, the beauty of like the nudity of their sculptures and something godly presence. And so to me, it was more conservative, while they're out there, shoving things out of their vagina and doing acts that are like dildoing nuns and stuff, and, making fun of Christianity. I was trying to bring beauty and, like, the Roger Scruton type of burlesque.
Yeah. When I think of burlesque, which I'm not going to tell you how often that is, by the way, just in case. But I kind of think well, I know this is probably not the right thing, but I kind of think 1950s pinup. I kind of think the imagery which would go on the side of the bombers in the war and stuff like that.
Exactly.
There was a very very kind of, not Betty Boo, but there was that very, well, kind of Betty Boo, actually.
Well, that's how I got into burlesque, was because I was a model and a performer. I did the theater, and I would look up when I was in the math lab working as a math tutor. I would look up in the city to do some pinup modeling, because I don't have that model look right now that's popular. The super skinny, super weird alien looking kind of girl, like I don't know if you know about models, like high fashion models nowadays. They're very, like, strange, like avant-garde, like super skinny, no body shape, like very alien looking. And it's interesting. It's an interesting, weird look, but I have that classic, like, pinup look. So I was looking at pinup modeling, and I got involved in the New York Pinup Club, and then they started doing burlesque shows, and I love performing more than modeling. So I was like, let's do that. So that's how I got into it. It's definitely very pinup.
I've got to go here now. I've got to do the milk. To give you context, right? So I'm a Yorkshireman. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you'd never would have guessed like that.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
Yorkshireman, and you know, artsy fartsy, you know what I mean? It's like artsy fartsy stuff, you know.
I like your tea.
Oh, thank you. It's good tea. It is good tea. And you know, I wouldn't say I'm the most cultured guy. Yeah, sure. I appreciate, you know, beauty, and I appreciate fun, and I appreciate, you know, stuff like that. But I when you go into the world of like interpretive dance and stuff, I don't fucking know about this sort of shit. You know, it's like this is. So I thought, right, I need to watch like a couple of performances to see what you were kind of doing.
Mhm.
So I've actually got the sound off because I don't know what I was doing, but I've got the sound off. Maybe I've got the sound on something else, and I've got you over here on this screen, right? And you're on either a stage, whether it be a sound stage or whatever, and there's a couple of people sat down on like one of those boxes which contain the rigging and whatnot, and they're kind of giving you a little bit of the old, you know, arty clap, and you take this, you take center stage, and then you're sort of there in like a gown, you know, and you're doing these like movements.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, right, you know, this is going to break out to some interpretive dance or something. So I'm sort of like doing what I'm doing on this side, and I'm like, you know, glancing across at the other, two monitors, you know, so doing like that. And then the next thing you know, there's this big quarts of milk in your hand, and I'm like, okay. So I'm sort of like, you got my attention now. And then it was just, and the milk just went everywhere. And then the dance just started to go more. And I was just like, oh, wow. Okay. I know nothing about art, me. Please explain the milk dance.
Sure. Okay, so I have this other piece that I did in 2014 called Negretto, which is the first phase of the alchemical process. And it was a similar performance, but in like black. And it's coming face to face with your demons. It's all alchemical thing. But when I got blacklisted, so everyone was like talking shit about me in the community, right? And so there were girls and they were talking to producers and being like, yeah, Lady Alchemy, blah, 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 talking all this stuff. So I started getting a lot of attacks and trolls, and I had someone kind of trolling me a little bit online, and I was like bickering back and forth with him. And then I said something about like, well, I'm not performing anymore. So, you know, and I was like, I'm working in PR. Like at the time, I just was switching around jobs, and I was like, just said something about not performing. And then the troll said, no, don't stop performing. You're really good. And I was like, why is this troll being nice to me now? And he ended up saying, hey, listen, you know what? You're actually pretty chill. You know, I kind of like you. He says, I heard about you because so-and-so and so-and-so were talking about you backstage or at some production. And I just have to see for myself what you were about. And you're actually pretty decent. And I'm actually working on this thing. And it's called like the Siberian Sex Circus, Donna Trumplova and the Siberian Sex Circus. And, you know, I want you to be a part of it. And he sent me the whole pitch about the show that he was creating. And it looked very anti-Trump, you know, it had the whole Trump with his like belly out and like being stupid. And I was like, well, I don't really understand like what you want me to do, because this seems very like an anti-Trump kind of show. And what am I going to do? And he was like, do whatever. He's like, do a political thing. And I don't care if it's a right-wing thing. Because he's a centrist. So he was kind of like, whatever. He's not a fan of Trump.
Yeah,
so that's why it kind of was like that. But he kind of wanted everyone to do whatever. I think he even had Antifa the day that I was there performing. And they didn't have a problem with me. But there was like some band that was there. I forget what they're called. And they were like Antifa. I guess some people didn't do the show. And they like canceled on them because I was a part of it. And they didn't want to have me. They didn't want to be a part of anything if I was going to be a part of it. So a lot of people bailed on it. And the guy was like,
it's always a very mature aspect.
Yeah. And the guy was like, no, I want you. I was like, are you sure? Like, you want me? And he's like, no, I want you. I want you part of the show. And I was like, well, what do I do? And he's like, I really like the black paint thing that you did. You know, can you do something like that, but like political? And I was like, okay. And I was thinking about it. And at the time in like 2017, I think this was, at the time, there was the meme of like milk is racist. I don't know if you remember.
Yes, yeah.
So milk became a thing.
Nazis drank milk, so if you drink milk, milk's racist. Yeah.
So the milk is racist was like this meme. I mean, Heal Not Divide Us. They had the guys with like shirtless that were like chugging the milk, and this milk thing was like a meme at the time. And so I was like, okay, so I can do instead of the black, like it can be like milk, because milk is racist. And then in the background have some anime right was like a thing too. I'm not really big into it, but I had a friend at the time that was like, get into the anime right. There's a whole subculture about that. And we'll have something in the background, because I needed something. It was a green screen thing. So he's like, okay, it's a live show. I forget what he gave reference to. It was a really artsy thing back in like the, I think like 80s, 70s, 80s. There was like some live show in New York City that was just like wild. There was bands playing. There was like people on sofas having chit chats. There was like, it was just this kind of hodgepodge of weird, artsy, kind of wild, like
fancy stuff,
local Manhattan kind of broadcast that was just like wild, and he wanted to emulate that. So, and there was a green screen, so he's like, okay, figure out what you want on the green screen, and whatever. So I had the anime right thing in the background. I had the milk is racist with the milk thing. That's what it represented. So like we were talking about earlier, this wasn't like I had Trump and 4chan or shit on in the background on the green screen, or like Pepe's or something. It was something that like leftists, even like one of the leftists sitting on the sofa watching it afterwards, I mean, they were all blown away. They're like, that was fantastic. They're like, you're not really a Trump supporter, are you? Like, that's a whole shtick, right? Like, that's a shtick. And I was like, no, I am. They're like, but you're too cool. Like, no, that's fake, right? I was like, no, it's not. But basically, yeah, anyone watching the performance could be like, wow, that was cool. But the burlesque girls that were trying to cancel me, I have inside information. Okay, I get intel from people that they don't know are on my side, but they're in the mix. So they were sending me screen caps and showing me conversations that these girls were having. They were like, did you see her milk performance? What even was that? What is that about? And they start doing their research and looking it up, and they're like, okay, so milk is racist is this meme, this thing, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, what about the anime? What was that about? The cartoon in the background. And they go and they look and like, okay, so I guess anime right is like a thing, blah, blah, blah. And they're like researching it. And someone was saying it's like Da Vinci Code for retards, They're sitting there trying to figure out what my piece was about and break down the like, far right Nazis.
In that thing, it's got all the equations just passing.
Yeah, so it was really funny, but that's how it was birthed. And also, again, that's like I said, what I think good art is, that like you don't blatantly see politics, but if you research it a little bit and kind of dig deeper, you're kind of like, oh, I see what she did there. So,
dear. So things kind of escalated a wee bit because you had some association with Gavin McGuinness. You had some association, I believe, with Milo Yiannopoulos as well. I think you went on to a show with Gavin, and that was kind of that was it for you then, in terms of existence within the arts community.
Yeah, so what they tend to do a lot of the times to cancel me is show footage of me on Gavin's show, which, like, I mean, everyone's been on Gavin's show. I mean, Katie Tour, who's like a tranny leftist, has been on his show. Ann Coulter, who's like a normal Republican, everyone's been on his show. And so that was kind of his thing, was just getting guests as much as he could. And I happened to be one guest. And they tend to use that against me a lot. And what he did was, when we were talking about what they were doing to me, and the people that were canceling me kind of brought up a few things that people posted about me. And then they were like, who is that? I'm like, oh, that looks like a tranny. Who is that? And I was like, Gavin, like, you can't say tranny, because at the time that's like a bad word. It's derogatory at the time. They decided that suddenly it's a bad word. And so I was like, as a joke, like, oh, Gavin, you can't say tranny. And he goes, oh, sorry, gender N-word, because it's Gavin. Like, I mean, he says the most crazy shit ever. He's a comedian. He's like wild. He's a drunk. Like, he says all sorts of shit. And what am I supposed to do when he says something like that? You awkwardly laugh and you're like, oh, haha, Gavin. Yeah. Oh, Gavin. And it's like, they now use that as like, you laughed. You laughed when Gavin said this, so.
Oh, no.
So now, guys, you cannot laugh, okay? You cannot laugh if Blazing Saddles says something racist. You cannot laugh if anyone in your presence, without you expecting it, says anything inappropriate. You are now to blame if someone says something in your presence.
Well, this is the wonderful guilt by association. You know, it's like the rules change every day to try. It's a gotcha. It's a big just gotcha campaign.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter what you're doing. They're just waiting for a gotcha moment.
Yep.
You know, you could be in a supermarket and see a blue T-shirt and be like, "Oh, I'll get that blue T-shirt." Gotcha.
Yep.
That's the conservative T-shirt. Gotcha. You went for the blue one. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep.
You know, so it's just one big gotcha campaign. But when we can't, I think the worst thing is when we can't. I mean, not that he would be politically opposed to you, or you know, you would have political indifferences somewhere. But let's just say, for argument's sake, well, Markota, for instance, why can't we have discussion anymore? Why is discussion gone?
Right.
Where has the ability gone where we can sit down with people we don't necessarily agree with on a political level or a fundamental level sometimes and just have discourse anymore? Where is that gone?
Exactly. And that was the point of what Gavin was doing. I mean, he had many people that he didn't agree with on the show. I mean, he had Copper Cab, who was like, I don't know, playing some leftist or something. Like I said, Katie Tour. I mean, I'm sure there's many other people. I'm not familiar with everyone Gavin has had on his show. But what they would do, too, to also attack me is show that I was on Gavin's show and that Richard Spencer was on Gavin's show. And they would just, like, crop all those things together to make it seem like guilt by association. But really what Gavin was doing was having everyone on his show. And, I mean, it's like religion, okay? If you think about religion, even if you pick one, right? Like, we're all like, let's say all Catholics. Not all Catholics have the same beliefs. You know, there's little nuances. Some Catholics are, you know, more accepting of gays. They, you know, they hate the sin, not the sinner. Some of them are more like West Baptist or whatever it's called, kind like
Westboro Baptist,
yeah, like super like hateful about it. You know, we can have discussions even though we're all like of faith, but there's differences, there's debates, there's nuances within the faith. So that's kind of the same thing with politics, is that like, you know, Gavin was having everyone on and, you know, have discussions and debate. But now that's being used against you. I mean,
well, he's essentially deplatformed himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, you can only have people on your show who have like that represent your exact beliefs. Yeah. Otherwise, you are responsible for that person on the show.
Yeah, and that to me just creates more problems because it creates more division. It creates less conversation. And it creates less middle ground, because the only way that we can ever sort anything is by conversation. And the day the conversation stops is the day that we stop as a society.
And the issue that's been happening the past few years too is that there is not only like no like just debate, but like you can't even like just like have any sort of like debate at all. It's just becomes name calling. So now it's like personal attack. You did this, like you are this, telling you what you are. There's no like, okay, let's like reason through this. You know, like these are my points, and then they come back with another point. It's just you're Nazi. Like that's not a debate.
Yeah. It's kind of getting to that crazy point. I mean, I personally like I read comics. I've suddenly, you know, I've been collecting comics for nearly 30 years of my life, and then somewhere, I don't know exactly when, but I got told that I was problematic. I got told that I was a Nazi. I got told that if I liked, you know, muscly dudes and sexy ladies and explosions and you know, just all right action in my comics, then that I was there was something wrong with me. I was sexist. I was bigoted. I was all this under the sun out of nowhere. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know what's happened.
Right.
But all I've done is purchase your comics for 30 years. I haven't changed. I haven't changed my philosophy. There's been a change around me that's kind of brought this about. And when you're talking commerce, particularly when you're talking about consumerism, and I mean, arts is still, you are performing to a public, regardless of how personal the art may be.
Right.
You still have an audience to perform it in front of, and every time that you go down this road, you're alienating audiences. You know, you want to go on the road with your anti-Trump troop, fine. That's great. But you have to understand you're only going to really appeal to anti-Trump people.
Right.
You know, that's your audience. You're cutting it out. Whereas if you want to just perform your art, you just want to perform your interpretive dance, you want to perform your milk, you know, whatever it is, that's an audience that anybody could see. Anyone could come, anyone could watch. Some people could understand, some people interpret one way, some people like me would just be like, that's out. You know, be like that sort of thing. And just be ignorant all day long. But at least you have the audience there to perform it in front of. Now we seem to just be in this perpetual segregation. Everyone's getting segregated. Whites are getting segregated. Black people are getting segregated. Women are getting segregated away from men. Everything's just getting segregated, and it's getting really worrisome. But you come off things like Twitter, you come off social media, and you go outside the door, everything's fine. Everything's all right. So it's just this weird culture which is sprung up through kind of social media and, I don't know, mentally ill people probably in social media, which is just create this toxic, this disgusting environment where people just get name call when you could just say, hey, let's just have a chat about this.
Yeah, and I mean, my issue too about it is like, okay, let's say you hate me. You hate me because of my politics, and you want to do something against me. Instead of calling the FBI, you know, trying to get me canceled from every gig, trying to make sure that you run me out of town, how about fight me via art? You know?
Well, how about just ask you why?
Yeah.
Why are your politics like this? Where did you become this? What?
Yeah.
You know, what
no one's asking
that?
you that. Oh, actually, it's funny because one of the first in 2016, when this first kind of started popping off online, it was a host, like a singer at the theater that I worked at, started attacking me. She's Black Lives Matter. And she was like, excuse me, miss, because I commented on another girl that works there who's Black, it's like Facebook calling her my friend. She goes, excuse me, miss, how do you call her your friend? Well, like my Black sister, your friend, when you are a Trump supporter, meaning you are racist, homophobic, blah, 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 like, you know, the whole thing. And I was explaining to her, and I was like, listen, you know, I judge people on the content of the character. This girl has been nothing but nice to me, and I respect her back, and that's how I interact with people. I don't care that she's Black. she's my friend. Like I don't even care if we have the same politics. And I was explaining things to her, and then she was just saying like, like she said in her comment about like, please explain. And then so I explained, and then she goes, I don't want to hear anything from a racist. So I was like,
oh, you probably explained it too well. Then you're probably very succinct.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, if you have a problem with me, like, how about let's fight it out with art, you know? Let's go like stage to stage.
A milk off.
Yeah, you know, like fight me, dance, like let's have a dance off.
Dance
like,
off.
Why don't we fight that way? Like,
I'd have a cup of tea off with you.
A what?
I'd have a cup of tea off with you. We'd have you brew a cup of tea, I'll brew a cup of tea.
Okay,
we'll get somebody in to taste them.
Okay.
Right, and discern who makes the better cuppa.
A cuppa. Yeah.
And you're going down. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know if I can.
Exactly.
Fisherman, but I have lived in the north. Okay, I have. You
might have lived here, but I'm bred here.
That's true. It's true. Well, okay, I'll make the best cup of coffee. Okay.
I'm probably all right. I've only got like Dow Egbert's instant brand for coffee. So
no,
yeah, I think
as soon as I got to England, there was instant. And I was like, no, French press, darling. And so we got a French press, and like my husband was like, my heart, like I don't like this. He's like, my heart's
yeah, it's just pretty powerful stuff, you know. I do have a coffee machine, but you got to put the little nodules in. I'm just like freeze dried.
Yeah, the mocha pot. It's like the Italian the mocha pot.
Nespresso. Oh, posh one. So yeah, you had the whole Gav McGuinness. What was the thing with Milo? I don't. What was the association? Did you just know Milo? What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a small world with all this stuff. So yeah, Gavin was tight with Milo, and then actually I performed for Milo's book launch party in New York, and that happens, funnily enough, through the producer that I did the Donald Trump Lobe with the Milk is Racist performance. Like the person that produced that, I got them in touch with like the PR company that I was working with at the time, and they were big Trump supporters and they knew Milo and like stuff like that. So they were politically aligned with me, and they kind of connected them to do this gig where Donna hosted. There was performances. They booked me to perform. I did a performance called the Woman's March, and we came out in burqas and chains, and then like had this like synthwave song, and like got down. It was really cool. It was actually really cool. I should perform that again sometime. But, that was a political one, but it was like a Milo event, so obviously I had to be like.
I'm thinking November time would probably be good, you know.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, like, I've met him through like Gavin, through performing for him. Like, there's just various times we've like bumped into each other, and so yeah. I mean, I'm not like I know him really great. I don't know if he would be like, oh yeah, Martina, but we've bumped into
there was an association. All right, fair enough. So you've essentially been cancelled from the arts. You've gone with the Indiegogo campaign and started to rise from that. But to me, you got a lot about you. There's a lot about you in terms of you clearly on you've got a creative level which some of us will never experience. You're articulate. You can communicate very well indeed.
Thanks.
What is preventing you from creating your own art troupe? What is preventing you from independently getting out there on stage with other artists, regardless of their politics, and putting your own shows on?
Yeah, well, I mean, these people are very, very dedicated. They research me every day. They keep tabs on what I'm doing every day. So they are heavily, heavily dedicated to destroying every opportunity that I can do. So they would always find something. Like I had a belly dancing instructor, old lady, who wanted to do a show. It was actually called Make America Sexy Again. And she wanted me because she said, oh, all burlesque dancers are all fat and ugly. Like, I want Lady Alchemy. And so, which is accurate. And so I told her, I was like, I don't know if you want me because I am, kind of a pariah right now.
Problematic.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you want me in your show. And she was like, no, like, what are they going to do, not play your music? And I was like, okay, fine. So we rehearsed, we prepared, everything. Day before the show, I get a call from her, and she's really upset. And she's like, I cannot believe this. I got an email from the venue. They saw that you're on the roster when I submitted the roster, and they said, you need to replace her. The show's canceled because she's a racist and anti-feminist, and she insulted the burlesque community. And I went through everything with her, and I was like, she's like, what does that mean? You're not a feminist? And I was like, okay, you know how they like hate men all the time? They like do all this shit. She's like, she's an older lady who's like an immigrant too. And she's like, yeah, that's true. That's true. And I was like, okay, so that's that. I was like, I insulted the burlesque community because when they were attacking me, I called them fat and ugly. And she goes, that's true. I was like, yeah, I know. And
everyone's a feminist until it comes to heavy lifting. And when it comes to heavy lifting, that's it. Everything's off the table then. It's all gooey eyes and can you help me lift this, please? That's what it...
Well, those are kind of the things too. Yeah. And then I said, and the racist bit, like, I'm not a racist. And she just had to sigh. She goes, I know. And she just felt so terrible. So that's what they do, is they find like everything they can, like any opportunity. It's like they'll shut it down. So for me to do my own thing, yeah, I have put out on, I think even like Craigslist, like I called it like the Right Wing Theater Squad, and it got shut down. And I was like looking, and so that got shut down. And I was like, oh, interesting. I can't create a Right Wing Theater Squad. Okay. And then
I don't think you need to interject politics into it.
No, I know I don't, but I just wanted to see like what. Like,
I know.
I was desperate. It like everything came down, and I said, "Fuck it, let me just embrace it." Right Wing Theater, let's go. Well, this was like 2016. But as far as like putting on my own stuff, yeah, that's my idea as well. But I have the problem with the venue. So like I said, this producer wanted me in her show, but when she submitted the roster to the venue was like, not her, replace her, or it's canceled. So I have an issue with venues. There is one venue that was on Gavin's show, actually. It's a theater in New York, and they do rentals. So given the fact that they were on Gavin's show and they can like rent it out to do a show or a rehearsal or whatever, that's cool. Maybe I can put on my own show. So it's definitely on the table to do something like that. I definitely want to put on my own show, but putting on a production is a really big project. You need a lot of hands. You need a lot of, money and like time and dedication. So it's one of those things where I feel stuck, because what we need is benefactors. We need people investing in the arts and see the value in it. Now, the Catholic Church in the Baroque era, during the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation, they knew in order to tap into the hearts and minds of people was to fund the arts, which is why we have the Sistine Chapel. But
they have to understand that if you're funding the arts, you're funding the arts.
Yeah.
There's nothing political about the arts.
Right.
It's, that's what you need to be funding regardless.
Right. But so we need people that are just like, hey, like Martina, like I see the value in what you offer, or any of us, and various different arts. I mean, whether you're a writer or even filmmaking, we complain about Hollywood being leftist and stuff. Well, it wasn't always. The golden age of Hollywood was Republican. I mean, whatever. So there is no, let's just give up. That's a leftist thing. I don't believe in that. I mean, the arts are so important, which is why the left have such a strong grasp on culture, is because everyone watches entertainment. Whether or not you hate Hollywood, you watch movies, you watch shows, you listen to music, you know what I mean? Like you do all these things, and it has an influence. So the right need to understand that there is value in that, just like what the Catholic Church during the Baroque era created pieces of artwork that we to this day are marvel at. And no, they're not like outwardly political, but in a sense, like they influenced public opinion. And they also did that in Roman times. I mean, Augustus had portraits of himself everywhere as like a godlike, youthful figure, because that's what would, affect people walking around seeing these things. And then it creates this bigger presence of Augustus, So we need to really tap into, no, don't forfeit to the left. We need, and again, it doesn't have to scream politics, but even if the funding underneath is like conservative,
Oh, yeah. Oh, no problem. Yeah.
A right-wing funder funds me, I will go do a show. It has nothing to do with politics.
Because if this was flip reverse, I would be I would be saying the exact same thing. If it was the right that was sort of had the throat, the hand on the throat sort of thing. Stuff, yeah, I would be exactly the same. I'd be saying because art is important.
Yeah.
For all I joke about, artsy farts, art is, to me, is very important. I've always grown up from a very artistic background with people that I know, myself attempting things, just not getting anywhere personally. But I think it's very important because it's something which fuels creativity, fuels imagination. And they can go out into all different forms. Like you can just see something that will spark something inside of you that will create this, make this creative juices flowing, and then you go out there and you write something. So you could see something interpretive, you could go out and write something. You could go and see a stage play, then you could go out and start to put together something of your own. It's very important for young minds, I think, the arts. I think it's very important for minds in general.
Yeah.
Because it takes us different places, it removes us from the reality, and we have so little escapism anymore. Because we have every facet of it invaded almost by the political agenda, that we need things like this to take us away. We need things like this to make us think.
Yeah. And I mean, just things. When you watch stuff, I mean, we all watch things, and you'll watch something, and then of course they insert a little of their SJW like agenda in the thing. And most of us, like, all of us are usually just go, okay, we roll our eyes and let it move on and continue the story. But that's exactly the thing. We can create content that doesn't have that little SJW little twist in there. It doesn't have to be screaming.
Or it has the counterpoint.
Right. Or they can just kind of slip things in. I mean, I remember watching a show one time. What was it? I think it's like The New Girl or something. I was watching just some dumb show, and it was on Fox. But I remember kind of perking up because I was like, what? Because they referenced like Reagan or something in a non-negative way. And that's all it took for me to be like, oh my God, because normally when they would do it, it would be a jab, it would be a dig. It would, you know, and that has an influence on young people. It has this subconscious influence. So they don't know who Reagan is, or they don't know what's going on, but they know it's a negative connotation, you know. But to see something that was like referencing like Thatcher or something in a non-negative way, it's kind of like, oh my God, it's so refreshing. Like,
yeah. That's why I personally like counterpoint, counterpoint.
Yeah.
Because I like that debate. I like that discourse. But yeah, sometimes it can just be refreshing to not have something played out in such a negative light, not played out as a, this is how you should be feeling about this. This is how middle America felt about this, when it wasn't necessarily the case.
Right.
But yeah, that's where we are. So I'm going to go through a few super chats now. Let's see if we've got some questions as well.
All right.
Something tells me there's going to be a few milk-related things, but we shall see. So let's start off with Simon Butterfield with £2 super chat. Isn't Martina a contributor to Rebel Media?
I used to. I stopped working with Rebel over a year ago, but yeah, I used to work at Rebel, and I would do a lot of more of the cultural stuff. I would always try to find something going on in Hollywood or the arts or music and stuff, but yeah, not anymore.
Is that a roll-up, by the way?
Yeah, it's a little spliffy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you should, if you're going to go there, try some licorice paper.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It makes it
nice. See, ours are not like yours, where it has like death pictures.
Yeah.
Death pictures.
I don't smoke, but I have this because I did a skit with it. But yeah, we get this on now. We get
Well, except when you leave the EU, those are EU pictures. You're gonna need to have all new pictures.
Yeah, we're gonna have all new death pictures.
I love the one where it's like a baby, like with a cigarette. It's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, don't give baby cigs. But we call them. I mean, we're British, so our slang for cigarettes are fags.
Right, fags. Yeah.
I'm up outside for a fag. You see, there's a different connotation over in America.
Yeah.
They'd be like, don't give babies fags. That's what we'd have. And that's what a Yorkshire cigarette manufacturer would have. Yeah, you daft twat. Don't give a baby a fag, you stupid idiot. You idiot. Because I used to, when I smoked many moons ago, I don't anymore. I haven't touched one for 15 years. Lit one. I've touched one, but I haven't lit one. For 15 years. But when I used to do rolling licorice paper, you'll be amazed at you can thank me afterwards.
Okay.
Shane O'Reilly with a €1.50 phallic unicorn. Thank you, Shane, and for Shane O'Reilly again with a €2 Cheshire cat grinning. You got a cat?
Do I have a cat? Yeah. Yeah.
I got a cat. Cat's good.
I love Kitty.
Yeah. And then, actually, they're from the previous stream, but I might have probably missed them before. Crazy Loon with a $2 suture. As you are a Warhammer lover, do you #stand with Arch? I'm probably going to do a video on that. I want there's some stuff I want to discuss about that. Neon Wolf with £2 super chat. Did you put the spring in Springfield? I have no idea who that is. That to you? Is that to? Did you do anything Springfield related, Simpsons related?
I didn't.
Sure, we're gonna go with sure. Yeah. Okay. Nod. Zaid Comics with a $5 super chat. Hey, Az and Martina, Lady Alchemy looks better than ever. Proud to be a backer of the book. Can't wait to read it. In my opinion, she is the Zatanna. There you go, again, of Comicsgate. Yeah, I said it was very Zatanna-esque.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I see that. And I think that it's like Scarlet Witch, but like instead of a Serb, a Croatian, and instead of witchcraft.
I don't want to start that business up again, for God's sake, please. That was my 90s news, for goodness knows how long.
Yes, yeah, you know.
We were shipping people all over the place to that. That's when I was back in the day. I actually was going to go into the army at one point, and that's probably what would have happened to me. I would have been shipped off to Serbia.
Yeah, probably.
To get involved. Bosnia. Yeah, to get involved in that malarkey. Great Ghost with a $10 super chat. By the way, Zaid Comics has also got his Lost Pages up on Indiegogo.
Oh yeah, Zaid is great.
Yeah. But if you do want to support Martina's Indiegogo campaign, top link in the description box down below. And if you want to support Martina's Maxim cover push, then also just below the Indiegogo link in the description.
Yeah, please, if everyone could do that. Speaking of, because I see there's a lot of people watching right now, and the thing is, if you look at the Maxim competition and the girls that are beating me, it's insane. They do not deserve to beat me. Just saying, and I don't know what they're doing.
Here it comes! It's coming out now. Let's have it.
I don't know what they're doing, like paid votes or whatever, but these are like women that are clearly older than me, like a nurse with like no social platform. And I'm like, there's no way that they're beating me. So if we get everyone watching, just do that free vote. I think we can bump me up, and there's a few hours left.
All right. I'm gonna do some real stuff here now. Actually, hold on. Let's make it more interesting. Let's share the screen. So are these your quarterfinal opponents?
Let me see. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's have a look. Alexis, nah. No way. Risha, nah. Maria, nah.
Click on it. You should click on it. It's crazy.
No, you see, it's always front foot forward. Front foot forward. If this is your front foot, that's what you're showing. You see, and then look at there you go, Martina. Might be slightly biased right now. Campbell, nothing. Tara.
Boobs. I mean, she's better than the ones that are before me. So,
I mean, if she wants to call me, and we'll discuss where I feel she deserves. Kiara, no. Anna, there's a girl next door. Is it? No. Carolina. I don't. Who is Carolina? Which one? That's cheating. That is a cheat. You're disqualified. Carolina is disqualified. Lydia, no. Nagmeh, no. And Brianna, nice try, but your look is 7 years out of date, darling. So I'm reckoning it's Martina, and I'm desperately trying not to look at Tara's bosom. But yeah, come on, folks, Martina, come on. And you get a free vote on Facebook as well. So if you're a Facebook person, click that link. Yes. Use your Facebook vote. Vote for Martina. Let's get it. Let's rig the election. Let's get some British interference in the election.
Yes. No, I mean, the thing is, I feel like it's a stupid little silly one of these like competitions, but I'm doing it for a few reasons. You know, the first reason is, you know, I got blacklisted. I have all these haters and stuff. So let's give them a big FU by getting me on the cover of the magazine. And also with all the lost income that they, you know, did to me, I could really use the $25K prize money. And also, why not have one?
Bad. That's not bad prize money.
Yeah. Right? And so why not have one of us? Or some of my, if you look at my profile, the pictures that I picked are insane and just weird and like cool. And so why not get a little weird alchemy-ness on the cover of the Maxim magazine? Like, fuck it. Let's do something.
Hey, I'm sold. Don't look at me. I'm sold. Oh, the cat's just knocked something off something. Okay, so then we got two. Great Ghost with a $10 super chat. Martina, sorry to learn about this. On the bright side, with so many creative folks looking at the crowdfunding scene, thanks for sharing this cautionary tale to warn against potential pitfalls. How with your team? Are you cast iron with your team now? Would you say?
Yes. Yeah.
So you get this campaign sorted. This campaign will go out. It'll be obviously be judged on the quality of the work. It's looking interesting. There's nothing to say with the reaction that you'll get to push forward with the second book, third book, whatever. So, be bolstered by the fact that you've gone through. Yeah, it's been a pit of fire, but at least you got out the pit of fire.
Yeah.
And you kind of at least been forged by it a wee bit.
Yeah.
Big Fat Nerd with a £5 super chat. People have different political views. It doesn't matter who believes what. It matters how you treat others, regardless of beliefs.
Yep.
Exactly. This is what I don't get. I just don't get why the qualification should surely be on the person, the individual, and not the politic.
Right.
Because, surprise, surprise, there's a lot of, black arseholes out there and gay arseholes out there, and these aren't untouchable people. Judge people by their own, the way that they treat you. Judge people by the way that they behave. Don't judge them based off their politics or the skin or their ethnicity or whatever. That's just fucking dumb. So aggressive.
Yeah.
2020 and we're so aggressive. Hey, Pookie.
Oh, Pookie.
Hi. You gonna come in and say hello? Hi. Oh, she's coming in.
Oh.
Hi. What's up? She knows when Daddy works, though. When I'm talking, she knows I'm working.
Yeah, my cats like to fuss about and come bother me when I'm streaming.
Did you hear that? We had a little meow. Hi. She might jump up on the desk. She might.
That is so cute.
She might. I love her. I love her so much. Jay Fraser 360 with a £5 super chat. Has either of you seen or heard Maz, M-A-Z, tell his side of the story on episode 198 of The Dick Show? The clip is titled Doug TenNapel and Comic Book Goss. Maz? No. Naz, do you mean Naz?
Maz is my former artist, and he went on The Dick Show to talk a lot of shit about me because when I fired him, he became very, very vindictive, and he went around trying to copyright strike my campaign. And then he went on The Dick Show and he started, I don't know what his side is. It's my campaign. It's the Lady Alchemy comic book. He didn't deliver what I paid for $11,000 for. I fired him. So what other conversation is there other than him calling me a stripper whore, that I spent all the money on vacations or visas or this or that and tax fraud? So it's all just a bunch of slander over what? Because I fired you. Imagine if it was me working on a project called Major Grubert and I didn't deliver and I got paid tons of money, didn't do the job that I was required. I got fired. And then I go around all over social media and podcasts just slamming him with all sorts of lies. How would that make me look? What would you guys think of me?
If you produce 14 pages in 18 months, that's ridiculous.
Yes, and I have
that's utterly ridiculous. Yeah. That's a piss poor work ethic. If 13 of those pages or 12 or whatever are of Major Gruber and not even the protagonist, then what the fuck are you making?
yeah. Basically, like someone in the comments said, he's a disgruntled ex-employee, and that's really what it is. You didn't deliver. You're making me look bad by not delivering, so I fired you. What else is there? What is your side of the story? You are fired. Go away.
And he goes on Doug TenNapel's show, Doug, who is now diametrically opposed to comics geek. So, whatever. Yeah. Swings and roundabouts, I guess. But Corey Timmons with $10 super chat. SJWs don't care. They are meant to just make chaos problems. If everyone thinks it's about left versus right, same right-leaning people thinks Trump is God. It's about being a Republican, no screws, all politics. Kind of there. Look, people who support Trump are going to support Trump. People who support the left are going to support the left. But you can't, in life, you can't make politics your discerning factor of conversation. You can't make it your discerning factor of whether or not you accept somebody into your life or not. That's insane. Yeah. That's fucking insane. We're one individual in a cog anyway.
Yep.
The effect that we have on a system, regardless of the fact that we do get a vote, is so almost insignificant. But we have to have the horde mentality of, minute insignificance with many of us becomes significant. But if that's what you want to use as your benchmark for friendship or whatever, then all you're going to do is you're never going to hear anything different. You're never going to hear anything be challenged. You're never going to have your worldview brought into question that's going to allow you to grow, think and grow, and make your own determinations. You're just going to hear everything that you agree with. Laserbeam Hawkins with $5 sutra. Howdy, Az and Lady Alchemy. I can't stand anyone too far to the left or right. They both end up at the same place. Fascism. Cancel culture. Yeah, Antifa's fascism. Fighting fascism with fascism. That's all they're doing. They are what they profess to not be. It's stupidity beyond compare, but whatever. Comic Book in Cahoots with $2 suture. SJWs can't take away your stunning beauty. No, I'm only joking, Lady Alchemy. That was directed at you. But yeah, no, don't care. Cancelled Venom with 2 Canadian. Milk, it does your body good. I'll take that. Here we go. This is the question I knew would come up. Big Fat Nerd, £2 super chat. Big question. Was the milk full fat, skimmed, or semi-skimmed?
Oh. Well, I mean, by the looks of it, looks pretty full fat. It's very
full fat to me. Yeah, I thought it's cream at one point. So when you said it was milk.
So I use this secret substance, and I was a little concerned about the consistency and wanted to maybe make it look a little more milky, but I kind of like the way that it just like painted the body instead of just like get you wet. So,
yeah. I mean, if it was skimmed, it would have just been like water.
Yeah, it just looks like
just would have been like water, love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the way that it just like paints you white, I thought that was really cool. So I don't know. It was like right before I got on stage, I was like, do I water this down or make it look more milky? I don't know. So I just went with it. So it looks really creamy.
Now, if you were a Yorkshire interpretive dancer, okay, she would have got out a pint of gold top milk. That's what she would have done.
Oh, okay. Gold top.
Pint of gold top, yeah.
Not the jersey. Not the
jersey.
You
press it in. It's like a little silver foil. You press it in. You take off the cap. Then she would have put the gold top down there.
Is it Jersey milk?
A gold top's like the creamiest milk that we get. When the milkman comes around, we got gold top, we got silver top, we got blue top, we got red top. You see, that's how you deal with your mook. She would have been gold top. I'm gonna put some gold top down there. Eskimo No Ferno with a $2 super chat. Time to get on stage and host a dance as. I would be shot. I would be shot for doing that. And rightly so.
Dance competition, let's go. I like how to do like interpretive dance too, because then it makes me think of like.
Yeah, I could do like.
Oh, see.
I could do like that.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Put that to music.
Yeah, just
kind of cool.
Get some gold top milk out, Ray! You know, that'll be away. And then Eskimo No Ferno with another $2 sutra. As has the body of a chisel by the gods. Well, they stopped when they got the slab of stone, though. You know, they got the slab of stone and they went, yeah, fuck this. And then he just stopped. So that didn't go too far with that. Oh, hello. YouTube's being a pain in the asshole. Oh, hold on. YouTube's just gone all funny. What? Oh, hold on. I know what it's done. Hold on. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Right. Okay. For some reason, it just keeps jumping back to my default account as opposed to my proper account. So it's just like, oh my God, everything's gone. And it's just like, oh no, it's just that it's just put back to here. There we go. Plague Runner with 2 Australian. Hey, Az, here is my support again. How have you been, man? I'm good, Plague. How are you? If you want to support Lady Alchemy, top link, description box down below. Check out the Lady Alchemy comic. And if you Facebook, or you want to check out some support as well, below that, support her Maxim cover campaign. which I'm just going to have a quick gander at Tara's pictures, just very quickly. It's nice knowing you, Martina. It's been a good run, you know. Well done.
Oh my god! No, so look at all the pictures because you'll see some basic bitches, and then you'll see my like wild like Lady Alchemy pictures. It's they're weird.
Hey, they're front foot forward pictures. Some of them just like this.
I know. You got it.
That's Maxim cover. I don't think so, darling. Come on, hustle.
I know. They're just paying for votes. That's all.
Pay for votes. They'll be broke when they win. If they have to pay it all back. Eskimo Inferno with a $5 super chat. They fear talent and influence, so they use dirty tactics to rise or stay in power. Too many opportunists. Hey, hello, Lady Alchemy. Doing great as always. Hello to you too. Do you think any of it is down to just good old-fashioned jealousy?
Yeah, so the thing is, with the burlesque scene and a few like haters that I have that are women, I hate saying it because a lot of my fans are also women. They generally kind of appreciate my aesthetic and what I'm doing and, you know, my personality and my kindness and stuff. And they like it and they appreciate it. But then you have a few, I don't know if it comes from insecurity or what, but I have a few girls that I worked with at that theater, two of them in particular, that when they found out about my politics and me getting canceled were like at the forefront of it. And that I think to me must be jealousy because they're a bit older aged and they had to do like sex acts on stage, which I didn't do. And I don't know, like it seemed like to me the opportunity for them to go, we got something we can get her on. So it was like a waiting game. Like they never really liked me, but then when it's like gang up on Lady Alchemy time, they're like, we got it. We got a way to gang up on her. So yeah, I do think some of it's just, I hate saying it, but the way that the women act and how vindictive and how far and how many years it's been going, it's gotta be something deeper. And also they'll collaborate with other right-wingers. Like they've collaborated with another YouTuber who went to Charlottesville to do a video against me, but they hate me because I'm a Nazi Trump supporter.
Huh.
I never went to Charlottesville. So this whole thing about politics, I feel like is a cover just to destroy me because you ended up working with someone that's an actual Nazi. So,
It's as if they're full of shit.
Yep.
SJ Almighty with a £1.50 peach super sticker. Must be referring to my Bertox. Eric K with a $5 super chat. I grew up with a bunch of Brits overseas. I say things like, make sure you grab your rubbers, people. Look at me straight, not knowing, I mean, rubber boots. Of course.
The Wellingtons, right?
Yeah, wellies. Wellies. Grab your wellies. I haven't said that for a long time. Grey Man with 2 Chilean frakes. Is she still single? And will she marry me? You gotta, yeah. Well, it's not me now, is it? Come on. Do I look like a she to you?
No, I'm married. I'm married to a British guy. That's why I know about these things. And I lived in the UK for 2 years.
Sorry, Grey Man. Off the table, dude. Off the table.
I'm old. I'm just turned 35. It's about time.
Kids. Children. Vukashin Zavishin with 250 Serbian dinar. There you go, Serbian dinar. I know my currencies. Too bad you did not go into the army. Maybe then you'd know the difference between Serbia and Siberia. Okay, funny fucker. It's an old joke. It's an old gag. I mistook Serbia for Siberia once. Look, geography's not my strong point. All right, it's okay. It's fine. SJ Almighty with a £3 super sticker of fist bump. Same to you, sir. Eskimo Phono with another $2 super chat. Work ethics over politics. Absolutely. 100%. But unfortunately, that's not the case now because people are just hard on politics and not work ethic. And that's why we have a bunch of shit coming out. because they're not qualified to do the stuff that they are pretending to do. Doorman 360 with a $2 super chat. It's not a good look to attack a previous employer. For the person to attack them, no. I mean, I would be very wary if I'd had somebody to write for me, and then they hadn't handed in what they were meant to, and then they went on a podcast and started bitching me off. When I could just go, hi, this is 18 months of work. It's 14 pages, and none of it's about what it's meant to be about.
Yeah, yeah, and so, I mean that's exactly my point. Is that like there is no side to his. It's like ultimately I paid tens of thousands of dollars, didn't get the work that I was happy with. It made me incredibly late on the campaign, which looks bad on me. And I fired you. And you did things that were copyright infringement. I mean, he had Patrick Nagel pictures in the comic book. He had Major Grubert, which is a copywritten. I think Marvel even published that. So there was a lot of mistakes. And ultimately, I had to fire him. So him going around smearing me, calling me a stripper whore, saying she did this and that and whatever, I think that only looks bad on him. So I don't know why anyone would make any excuses for him. I mean,
do you know the way he wins the argument, or the way he shows you in a bad light? He produces the work. Right,
and that's my issue.
So if you're name calling and you're not producing the work, then you have no argument.
And also, I've never named him. He has a whole long name that's like 1 million letters long, and like I don't even know how to say it. And out of respect, which I shouldn't have never named him, but he will go out there and use my name and my reputation to slander me instead of, it's been 6 months. Make your book. Make your book. Like I said, fight me with
art.
Show it
off. Yeah, show it. Yeah, fight with art. Show it off.
Instead of using your time
you have nothing.
Yeah, instead of using your time to dedicate to harassing and obsessing over me and trying to ruin me, focus on your art. Produce your book. Show me what I missed out on.
Calvin Whitcliffe with a $2 super chat. Where can I get Lady Alchemy books? Calvin, top link in the description box down below. It leads to the Indiegogo campaign for Lady Alchemy's book. Click on that link. It'll take you there, and you have various tiers that you can support. And that's how you can support the book. We've already added about another 10, 15 backers today, so that's good. We're up past 50, just short of 51,000 now, which is $51,000, which is very good. That's not bad for an opening campaign. Michael J. Cox with a $5 super chat. As your resemblance of Leo McKern is uncanny, I just watched the 7th episode Patrick McGowan cut of the 7th episode Patrick McGowan cut of The Prisoner. Nice. Yeah, I'm a huge Prisoner fan. Don't know if that's your thing.
Oh God, sorry.
Ring, ring. Skype coming in. Neon Wolf with a £5 super chat. The Spring in Springfield was the song from the Simpsons episode Bart After Dark, where he works in a burlesque house back when it didn't suck. There you go. There's the link to the burlesque. Loquacious Primate with a $5 super chat. I took a class in college on Jungian psychology and alchemy. It seems they left out some relevant artistry which would have improved student attention. So do you know much about alchemy then as a form, as a science?
Yeah, sorry. My husband was just saying like that you're looking rude. You're ignoring him. He said that you have more backers. Sorry, sometimes you're glitching and I don't notice like that you're saying something to me and I thought you're talking chat. I'm not invisible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's what he was calling me. He's like, you look rude. So, sorry.
Yeah, it's just like, we got another 10, 15 backers just come on.
Yeah, no, no, it's sometimes it's like glitching and I like miss words, and I'm just trying my best to be like, great.
It's fine. You can be aloof around me.
No, sorry about that. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Thank you guys so much, because it really is about just fixing this mess that I'm in, and the support really means a lot, because I feel like I've been beaten down a lot, like over the years, and how this guy has tried to ruin and beat me down. So, you know, like it makes me really emotional, and I'm very sensitive. So that the support, like you guys don't understand how much it means to me. But yeah, about Alchemy. Yes, I am really into Alchemy. Yeah, what do you want to know about it? I've been studying Alchemy for years.
I want to know, can you turn can you make gold?
Can I make gold? So the whole transmuting lead to gold thing is also a metaphor for the soul. So it's about transforming that lead into gold, like your spirit, your soul. It's about perfecting yourself over and over again. There's two aspects to alchemy. There's the inner work and the outer work. The outer work is the chemistry, the physical chemistry, alchemy, physical world we live in. I do think you can transmute things into gold. I think we actually have done that. There's in science.
I did it in World of Warcraft. I could do some transmutation in World of Warcraft.
I think modern science has taken, like, I don't know, some things and technically transmuted them into gold or something. But true alchemy is also incorporates the inner work. So it's not separate from that chemistry that we know. And the inner work is like Carl Jung, the spiritual aspect, the psychological stuff, and perfecting yourself. So ultimately, that gold in the material world becomes like irrelevant, because you're getting so much value out of like perfecting yourself and making yourself a better person, that you don't care about that anymore.
Wow. Well, but I'll tell you now, I wouldn't have invited you on if the campaign had gone shit. I enjoy it's your fight back, which made me want to lend my support behind it. That's what was great to see. Was not just the fight back, but was to see the campaign getting consistently updated with new stuff. That this was somebody who was genuinely on the right track now, with a vision, with a true direction, and stuff was now getting put together. So that's what made me, very impressed with what was going on here. It wasn't just a matter of, let's just get somebody on, let's get a female on, or whatever it may be. I'm not that superficial. No, it's you put in the work, and if you can see somebody do that, then I want them to succeed.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think what me and my friends were talking about is that it is an example of like a comeback story, a positive thing, because there's so many people, anti-comic skaters that are quick to point out the failures of comic skate. And they wanted to point at Lady Alchemy as an example, but it can be a good example for people to show there can be problems. You can mess up. Yes. You can not know what you're doing, but then you can fix it and you can sort it out. And honestly, it was the community. It was everyone that kind of rallied around and helped me. Adam Post really came around in the beginning, before I went public, before the backers knew anything. I was talking with him and he was like helping me say, you got to do this. You got to get here, talk to Vaughn. Like, you got to sort out like all this and that. Your next step, don't pay thousands of dollars up front anymore, Martina. Pay 5 pages at a time. Yeah. So there was a lot of learning that I had to do, and it was thanks to everybody. But yeah, it was my determination to like fix it, and I think that's a good thing. I think it could be a really good thing for Comicsgate that I fucked up so bad, but then was able to fix it.
It's a cautionary tale, for sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. We've had campaigns that have been delayed, come out very well indeed. Had campaigns which have died because I don't know why. I don't know where they got messed up. Yeah. But what is important is somebody who goes through the trial and comes out the other side. Just imagine what it's going to be like when you get that book through the letterbox for the first time. That's that, and just imagine when they start shipping out to the backers. That's going to be such a trial that you've gone through.
I know,
and it's going to be completed and it's going to be done, and you're going to be able to see at least what the bottom line was on this one. Was it a loss? Was it a little bit of profit? Where did I cock up? You'll be able to see all of that process very clearly. And so when it comes around to next time, you'll be like, right, these are the mistakes I don't make anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is where we go, and it'll just be so much of a better process.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely going to be a cleaner, smoother process. I mean, I definitely want to next time do as much work as possible, get as much of it done completed before I even go live, so that it doesn't take 2 years for a book to come out. That it's like boom, like 4 months later, there's a book. Yeah, it's definitely a learning lesson, and I don't know. I'm happy.
Yeah. Like I said, it was the fight back that's important.
And there's also just the product itself. Like, I remember thinking about like having this pit in my stomach about how unhappy I was with the product he was producing originally, and how I kind of was embarrassed by it, and then just thought, I'll just get through book 1, and then book 2 I'll do what I want to do. So I'm really happy now that I get to see these pages come to life and be really happy about the quality of it and happy about the story of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Altfit with a £5 super chat. Today, it's considered racist to be proud of your people and want the best for them, but only if your people are white. Well, it doesn't matter, because if all the white people on the earth are victimized beyond redeemability, then they'll just pick on the next color. These people, there's no stop. It'll just be the next. Who's the next target? Oh, let's go for the Asians. Let's go for, that's what will happen. So it's don't be fooled by the, without pun intended, the black and whiteness of this, the binary nature of this. This is just about destruction. This is all this is about. It's about destruction and tearing shit down. America's got a commie problem, and it needs to sort it out. Plague Runner with 5 Australian. Okay, I've given my support, Lady Alchemy. I took time out from killing heretics and cleansing the unclean with holy fire and Inquisitor Martyr. I think that means Plague Runner is a new backer. There you go. Battle Hymn 63 with 5 American. This just in, a strong worth ethic is a white trait. Did you hear about this?
No.
The Museum of Black History or something released a I don't know what you'd call it, a remit about what is whiteness. And it was like individuality, strong worth ethic, wearing a wristwatch, doing their work diligently and stuff like this. And as if it was all negative, and it's crazy. It's absolutely bizarre. If you want a good laugh, go check it out. It's hilarity.
I mean, that's bizarre on like the content itself of what they're saying. It's bizarre and ridiculous, but also, why is the Museum of Blackness explaining what whiteness is? Like, just talk about your black stuff. Talk about black stuff.
Wasn't that what people got told we were racist for? Never mind. Doesn't matter. I guess it only works one way. Bam Bam 3000 with a £2 super chat. Hail as in Lady Alchemy. Hail to you, Bam Bam.
Hail.
Ram Bam. Louis the Plank with $5 super chat. Just back the campaign. Looking forward to a new comic read. The art looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Louis the Plank, another supporter. There you go.
Thank you.
Taker 610 with a $2 super chat. Is there no legal recourse for this? Can Nick help? I think he's talking about Nick Recader. Spoke to Nick Recader at all?
I've had some brief conversations, but maybe I'll reach back out.
He's a really good guy. He's a really good guy. He's a great guy. Lawyer. He could give you some decent pointers if you've got some recourse of action on this.
I mean, I just want to make a comic book that is my story. That's like Alchemy, literally me, my story.
Well, it's like saying I want to write a Batman book and then have somebody put Superman in for 15 pages.
And then try to like take it away from you and try to do copyright like infringement strikes and stuff. It's like, can I just like do my book about me? Please?
Yeah. But yeah, reach out to Nick. He's good.
Right.
He's good.
Yeah, thanks.
He's good people. Yeah, he's really good people. SJ Almighty with a £1 super sticker of a face. And Rambam 3000 again with a £5 super chat. Lady Alchemy, did you ever meet Johnny Pork Pie, the so-called burlesque mayor of New York?
Johnny Pork Pie, burlesque mayor. Has this happened in the past few years? Because I don't know what happened in 2016. Let me see.
Google Johnny Pork Pie.
New York.
I dread to think if I was to Google that.
Well, that sounds like boylesque. Oh, yeah, he's a bit older. He's 46. Maybe I have met him. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've met him.
You've met him. Okay. Distinct look. I like the tone of the voice went down a couple of octaves. Oh, yeah, I've met him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've met him. Yeah, shut that one down. All right, moving on then. Cisco Kid with a $10 super chat. Hail, Lady Alchemy. Hail, has just picked up the tarot deck and 2 books. Looking forward to both. Best of luck to you and Lady Alchemy. Boom.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to pick up a tarot deck myself. I know nothing about it. I just think it'd be a cool thing to have.
So the thing is with the tarot, that's something that, like, if you guys can understand, I just want to get this book done and focus on the book. So that's like my priority. But the tarot deck is exciting because it's going to be the 22 major arcana cards, but like it's kind of like a replacement for trading cards. Because instead of just like the typical like trading card, it has a little bit of like the Lady Alchemy vibe to it by being like a tarot.
No, I think it fits perfectly with the campaign.
Yeah.
It's like when I was talking to Dan Frager the other week, and I was just like, Dan, you do know that your logo is a fucking bottle opener. He's got this logo which is just designed like a bottle opener, and he didn't have it as a bottle opener. Yeah. And he was just like, oh my God, you're right. I was just like, Dan, because he's got like shot glasses and things for, you know. Yeah. I'm like, you missed it. Come on. I said, you can have that for free, Dan. You got that for free.
No, but thank you guys so much.
Yeah. So no, I think tarot cards work perfectly for the campaign. I mean, I got here. I ain't no bullshitter, folks. I ain't, messing with no broke person of color. There's my Lady Alchemy sticker.
Oh my God.
And if I get my hand, ladies, down in here, let's get it out. This is gonna get framed, but we got the come here, boo, douche, the Lady Alchemy Gouge poster.
Yeah, so that's like a very Nagel-inspired looking poster.
There you go. That's doing some interpretive dance on that one there. So there we go. Yeah, so they came a long time ago now. They came back, and I do recall not only did it arrive, but remember, you wouldn't have known me from Adam then. You wouldn't have known who the hell I was or what. I was just a backer. But I got an individual email from you saying, hey, because you're UK based, can you just tell me if your poster has arrived, please? And I sent you one back saying, yeah, poster's arrived.
Very good.
So there you go. So you are following up on them as well to make sure they'd all got here.
That is true. Thank you.
Right. I think there's just a couple more super chats and then we shall wrap it up for you. You can go back to bed. Alt Fit with a £5 super chat. And they say, we must stop the Twitter mob from cancelling and ruining lives. Invoke legislation so employers are unable to sack someone for their political views. I don't know if it's as simple as that in terms of like the arts, because the arts are very subjective. Because it's about hiring based off what they specifically want. It's not like having a secretary in or, having a CEO in. Or, it's That's the whole thing with arts. It's all very interpretive.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like with the performing scene, as far as any theaters or like that community goes, and all those various little theaters and shows that goes on, I'm blacklisted. But like we were talking about, is there anything else I could do? The only thing that I can do right now is go past the agents and the stupid little shows in the city and go directly to clients, people, corporate clients, people directly with them, and they book me, because usually they don't care. If it's a big business or a corporation or, let's say a restaurant out in Long Island, they don't give a shit about, they probably vote for Trump out there or something. If I go directly to the client and book that way, then I can sidetrack all their bullshit. So.
Yeah. And then very finally, I don't know if this means anything to you or not, but Gladiator with $2. How does a lady feel about the Fall of War campaign? Any feelings? Any thoughts?
The fall of
War campaign.
Oh, War campaign?
Like a subsidiary of Comicsgate, weren't they?
Oh, you guys can't get me wrapped up in all that drama. You can really do that?
Good. That is the best answer.
I have enough drama in my life. I'm not. You know what I will say is that there are individuals who have supported me, whether they're war campaign or not, and I really appreciate that. I'm very sensitive and emotional, and I've gone through so much shit that if you have war campaign on your Twitter and you don't do any asshole stuff to people, but you are supportive of me, I have no problem with that, and I appreciate it a lot. It means so much. You guys don't understand. I could cry for support, the support that I get. So whether you're war campaign or not, I don't really pay attention. It's just, if you're nice to me and you're good to me, then I'm like...
Yeah, I never knew the politics of it all. I had no dog in any fight at all. I knew nothing about it. I have followers that have got WC in their name. If they're cool with me, I ain't got a problem with anyone.
To me, it's an individual thing.
Yeah, it's your problem with Comicsgate. It's not your problem with people who are, whatever. So there we go. Martina, thank you so much indeed for coming on. Thank you. I mean, we've gone through a couple of hours now, so I think that's enough to pop you back into your box for now.
Thank you so much.
I don't know what you were on before the stream. Probably should have checked before the stream, but you're up to $51,103 now on your campaign.
You definitely bumped me up to 51. Thank you so much.
With 1,296 backers. So you're 4 backers away from 1,300 backers.
Wow.
On the campaign, which is absolutely fantastic. Like I said, the reason why I did want to chat was because this was a story of somebody who was fighting back. And that's what I wanted to see, because I'd seen a couple fall by the wayside with no fight at all. And that angered me. So to see this, but not just to see it in words, but to see it in deed as well.
Yeah.
To see it with images, to see it with persistent updates, actually made me think, oh no, this isn't talk, this is action, this is affirmative action. So that was great to see. Interesting about the whole cancel culture stuff in general. But look, I mean, you got a big bunch of support, so I think you got the acumen. Get your, I don't know what your boyfriend does, or your husband, I should really say. I don't know what your husband does, but it seems like you got a decent network of people around you. And I think there's no reason why you can't bang all your heads together and get somewhere hired out, get a show on, regardless of what the show may be. Get something on for you and other people to perform their craft regardless, and make an example that we don't care what your politic is. We care about your talent. We care about your artistry.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's an important thing, and it's an important example to do too, to get out there and just keep doing it, because otherwise they know that this wins. This is my issue with the left, is that and my issue with the right is that when the left do things to destroy, the right just crumbles. And
you got to do something to create.
Yeah,
you got to balance it out.
Yeah.
So they want to tear down, then you got to create. You put your art out there. You get people regardless of whether or not the left, right, fucking up, down, fucking inside or out.
Yeah.
You get them on there, and you get them because they want to perform and they want to, they want to show off their artistry to the world. I think you got it about you, and I think you should do that. Shona Riley quickly with a €5 super chat. Back the beautiful Lady Alchemy. Also, hi as I guess. And SBD8 with 25 Swedish krona. Another solid AZChats and Lady Alchemy. Thumbs up. So before you go, take center stage yourself and give a plug to everything that you got.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It really means a lot, and the support, especially coming through the fire and all the bullshit, it really means a lot. And I'm glad that people can recognize I'm really pushing and fighting through. So if you want to help support, there's the Indiegogo campaign, and the comic book is looking really good. Can't wait for it to get out. It's happening. So you can always get a book or two or whatever, a poster, whatever you need. And if you cannot contribute financially, a vote for Maxim always helps. Let's try to give a big FU to the haters and the people trying to cancel me by getting me on the cover of the magazine and recovering some lost income with that reward money. Could also help the comic book, actually, that reward money. And get a little weirdness and some alchemy into like a lad's mag.
All right, get a bit of weirdness in it. Get a bit of weirdness into your life.
Yeah.
There you go. Lady Alchemy, get a bit of weirdness in. It's been wonderful to have you on. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Quickie, Bubo Media with $5. Thanks for the chat. Thank you for coming to the chat. We were up around nearly 1,300 at one point, which was phenomenal. I think so. There's a lot of people who are interested in hearing what you had to say. A lot of people interested in your journey and this kind of like story through this whole crazy cancel culture.
If I can then do one more thing, you guys can
also
subscribe to my channel. You can always look up Martina Markota YouTube.
Oh, we've been putting your link out. We've been putting your link out throughout the stream. Okay, my mods are great. My mods are on it. They're on it.
Yeah, subscribe, please, because we do a lot of fun stuff. We talk about art history. We're going through art history stuff, and it's really fun and interesting. And my chat is really like smart, and we always have really great conversations. So please join us sometime.
There you go. So thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Huge thank you to my mods, as I've just said, because they are fantastic. They've been sticking out links left, right, center. So they are superb. Thank you to everyone who hit the super chat button and support the channel as well. That's phenomenal. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, Lady Alchemy. Thank you very much.